welcome to episode 17 of Sanj Surati Talks. It's been a while since we've connected. I don't know what to say. There's loads of stuff that's been going on, which has been exciting. One of the reasons why I've been busy is I've been working a lot of film shoots, which is really cool. But I met an old friend who I haven't seen in a while. We worked on a shoot with each other about 2 years ago, literally a couple of months before the pandemic. And I managed to meet him on set recently, an Apple TV show that we're working on at the moment. Please welcome to the stage a fantastic talent. He is like one of the funniest guys I've ever met. He's really cool. He has a strong presence on social media. The stuff he does online is just absolutely infectious and so funny and really compelling and really engaging. And I've been trying to get him on this show for ages, but because I didn't have his details, I haven't been able to get him. And luckily, because we met on set, I managed to nab him. So please welcome to the stage the fantastic comedian and actor, Mr. Aziz Kemal.
Hey,
buddy,
Sanj.
how you doing? You all right?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Those words that you've just said were very kind. So thank you for that, man. I was almost in tears just now listening.
Mate, like you know I've got a lot of respect for you.
No, I appreciate that, man.
And I don't really respect many people, so
thank you. I feel very lucky.
Tell us about yourself, like just a little brief intro to those listening who don't know you.
Hi, my name's Aziz. I'm 32. I live in London. I'm an actor and content creator, if you want to call it that. I'm very new to the industry. I've probably been acting for about 4 or 5 years now, but it's taken me about 2 to 3 years to literally understand the industry and actually get a speaking role and get an advert, things like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm still working part-time. So I have a side job where I work as a cover teacher and a TA. And I'm trying to really, really get into the industry. I'm trying everything I can, from writing to content creating to networking. And yeah, just really, really want to break in and show the world what I've got, basically.
We met on a shoot that we're allowed to talk about now for the fantastic Marvel, a film that's just come out about a month ago called The Eternals. You and I were like warriors.
Yeah.
And we spent a couple of weeks rehearsing on a scene. Like a big stunt scene, and we spent a couple of weeks being filmed. We worked with some of the major actors that are on that, just to name a few: Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, loads of people.
No one too big.
No one too big. I mean, we haven't seen it yet. I don't know actually since we last spoke. Have you seen it yet?
I still haven't seen it, no.
No, but one of our friends who was on the shoot with us saw it and told us that they cut out our scene, which is pretty savage. But we met on Eternals. How did you get involved on Eternals?
So I'm obviously another way of getting into the industry. We work as background artists, supporting artists, if you what would you call it actually?
I call us like
props.
Yeah. Like living background or
yeah, I guess so.
Pieces of furniture that have heartbeats. I don't know.
It depends on the scene, but yeah, I know what you mean.
That's kind of something that we do. But that particular job was a stunt scene. Tell us about your experience.
Well, for me, I think when I first got booked, they didn't really ask me about stunts. They just asked me if I was available, basically. But I remember when we got booked, there was a small group of us, wasn't there? There was only, how many? 20 of us, maybe?
Yeah, maybe not even that, actually. Like, I think there was 15 or something.
Yeah, so it was very tight. Like, we were all instantly bonding. But I do remember that... me personally, I think I wasn't too sure what was going on. And like, they tied our hair up. We all had long beards and things like that. And I wasn't too sure what was going on. So when I came onto the scene, I can't remember if it was you or someone else. They told me like, do you know who was in this scene? And I was like, no, I've got no idea. And then when we got onto the actual set, the whole Eternal cast, like the main, 6 or 7 of them were all there. So I remember that like quite well, and I was like very like shocked kind of thing. But even like when it was like us guys, because we don't have our phones with us on set, So like meeting someone
Wow.
like you, I remember when you told me, you're like, oh, I'm into stand-up. And I was like, okay, this is the kind of people that I really want to meet on set. Because sometimes you meet some very different people. I'm like some strange, I don't want to call it strange, but in that industry that we're in, like the people are very just outgoing, and people start singing, people start dancing, people are like just, yeah, very interesting. But I do remember, honestly, like when I met you, I was like, right, this is my type of guy. We're both into comedy. And like, I think what it was as well, sometimes you see each other on set, you don't talk at the beginning. And then when we start to get to know each other, you're like, oh, he's a joker. And then we actually start messing around while we're not messing around, but like while we're filming, we're really enjoying ourselves, like the expressions and everything. You know what I mean? Like stuff. I really remember that with you. Like me and you were really taking it very seriously, and we're all like having a laugh and a joke in between takes and things like that, you know?
When I worked with you, I was quite green to the kind of film industry. I'd done a few things. That was kind of like one of my first long-term roles where I was there for a long time. But just touching base on what you were saying about these sets, when you're on set, you do meet some very interesting people, like all walks of life.
Yeah.
And all walks of craziness. And I mean that in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know, it's the film industry. So the majority of people there, not everyone, but majority of people there are there because they want to be famous. They're, you know, they're obviously talented, but they're trying to find a way to channel that talent.
Yeah, 100%.
Your sanity's usually quite tested on those sets because it's long hours.
Mate.
You're wearing a costume that's quite heavy. I remember the costume we were wearing was difficult to go to the bathroom in.
Yeah, of course.
And then there's stars on set as well. So, you know, we mentioned a few names, but I've got to mention Kamal Najini. Is that how you pronounce his name? Who's the Pakistani stand-up comic from the US.
Oh, yeah, he's really good, yeah.
And it was weird because I hadn't seen his change for that role. He put on a lot of muscle. So seeing him on set as this gigantor was interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
But just going back to what you're saying about having fun on set, it's really important to keep your sanity, to have fun, because, you know, some people take it too seriously. It can be the death of their sanity, you know?
100%. I mean, look, the thing is with, I feel like, especially even the other day, we take it seriously, but we have fun at the same time. Other people, it's like they try to take it a bit too seriously, but like the whole point of a film is make pretend, you know? Like it's bringing back that childhood, you know, when you're a kid and you're just like living that, like make pretend life, kind of like, you know, when you're just messing around with your brother or your friend or something, and it's like, you're like, the floor is lava, you know, things like that. So I always feel like when I'm on set, I'm in that magical land. So it's like I can enjoy myself and just, you know, and I just feel like, and that's how we bring more realism to it, because you actually have to imagine you're there, you know? That's what I love about it. And there's no harm in enjoying yourself while you're there. That's my view.
One of my favorite actors is a guy called Bryan Cranston.
He's wicked.
Yeah, I love him. He talks about his perspective on set. Yes, you're there to have fun. Yes, you need to be relaxed, etc. You're also there to do a job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you need to kind of understand how to switch that that allows you to go from being the character and being in the moment to being someone that's has the ability to work with anyone.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you become difficult, then it makes the whole situation difficult. And he said something like, I think his dad or someone he knew used to work on set with Tom Hanks. So he used to go on set and see Tom Hanks in action. And Tom Hanks is one of those actors who's known to be like, come on set, you know, everyone's family, everyone gets on well, like, hey guys, how you doing? How you going? Right, yeah, you know, like cheers everyone up. And then when they're in the zone, it's a switch, like boom, right now it's time to work, you know?
Yeah.
And getting that balance, it's not easy, but that's definitely something that I try to bring on set, because as you say, some people just take it too seriously. And I feel that has a negative impact on the craft.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, everyone has their own method, I guess.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's nice to be able to just switch on and off. I love method acting. I would say I'm more of a method actor, but I don't think I could just stay in a character all day. I think it would be too much pressure. I think it's better to be able to be like, cool, let's enjoy ourselves, and then bang, like you said, put the switch on and just get into the zone. I don't know. I think that would probably work for me. I feel like me and you were doing that a lot recently. Like we were having our little laugh and convo and joke. And then as soon as they said, action, me and you were just like bang in the zone.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like we were doing it a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And I like that because sometimes those environments can be overwhelming because there's so many cameras and so many lights and there's so many crew and there's so much pressure. So having that balance, I find, is really useful. You said you're quite new to acting. You've told me that you're doing some really good things. Obviously, there's some things you can talk about, some things you can't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into acting?
Okay, let's start from the beginning. So when I was a child, I was always at drama school. That was always something I enjoyed on the weekends. And then I tried to do drama GCSE, absolutely failed that, had the big stage fright, gave it up. I said, forget it.
Wow.
And fast forward, how many years? 18 years. So yeah, when I got to 28, sorry, that's about 12 years or something. Yeah, so when I got to about 28, I was at like a very strange point in my life where I wanted to find what I want to do with my life, because I tried different jobs. I did a degree in animation.
Wow.
I was always a creative person. I just didn't really know what to do. I was always good at drawing. I liked drama, but I was always a bit afraid of drama. And then, yeah, when I got to, about 27, 28, I think I remember just one of my friends asking me to become an extra, like on set one day, randomly. And when I did this job, it was for Barber Jackets and it was a commercial. And I had such a good day on that set. I started talking to more of the models and actors that were there. And I just asked them how they got into it. They told me about a drama school, which was Identity. And I kind of felt like, okay, maybe this is a bit of a calling. Maybe there was a reason why I was here, kind of thing. And yeah, since that day, I researched the drama school, and then I did a little bit more, a bit more networking, a bit more, like I signed up to more extra agencies. I signed up to a drama school, got in, and then from there, it just kind of went like, right, cool. I studied for a bit, and then it was like, right, let me understand how the industry works. And then everyone started to tell me, right, so you need to get on Spotlight, then you need to get an agent, and you need to get an agent, you need experience. So I started joining all these websites where I had to do really small budget jobs where I wasn't even paid, or paid a very small fee just to build a showreel. And then what the showreel is just, I'm sure you know, but I'll explain, just a video of your acting experience, basically. Right. So any adverts or video, adverts, films, TV series. So it's like a portfolio. That's the right word.
Yeah.
So that was my little thing. I was like, okay, cool. So build that up. And then once I built it to a decent enough level, I wanted to try and approach agencies, and I got rejected a million times. I think I was a bit cocky and I researched like the top 100 agencies in London and I just tried to approach all of them, got zero feedback. So yeah, and then what happened was, obviously relating this back to my content creating, so I content create as well. I make like comedy videos online, and one day I get a DM on my Instagram from this agency saying, "Hi Aziz, just wanted to ask you if you're represented." And I was like, oh my God, like I'm actually looking for an agent. This is crazy. So this woman seen my videos online. She liked what she saw. She asked me for a meeting. We had a meeting and she became my agent. And Amazing. It was just like, yeah, it was just crazy. So that's kind of how I got in. That was like the start that got me on Spotlight, got me the agent, and then got me the auditions that I could never get before. And that was probably about 4 years ago now. And literally in 2021, from the beginning of 2021, I've had so many good jobs, which is crazy. Like when the pandemic happened, I thought, oh, this is just going to destroy my career. Like I'm just getting on a rise, but I've had all my good jobs this year.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's kind of like a summary of how I got into it. Basically.
It's like taking a bit of time to get that momentum.
Oh, mate, 100%. I know so many different actors now that I've met, and some people get it a lot faster. Some people are still miles behind, not miles behind me, but like it takes some people a lot longer. And so everyone's on their own journey. But yeah, like I still feel like I still feel like I'm doing okay. I could do better, but yeah, it has taken a long time. Like it's just weird because you don't understand the industry. I think that's the main thing. Like you don't know about Spotlight, you don't know about an agent. It's just, oh, I want to become an actor. And yeah. But once you start learning from others, I think it helps. So yeah, that's basically where it's brought me till today.
So let's talk about your comedy. You just touched on it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into making comedy content?
Really random, man. I used to make videos on my Snapchat, like for a joke, just between me and my friends. And I don't know. I used to just mess around, like film myself doing silly things. And then one day I just picked up this wig that I used for like fancy dress or something. And I just created this character like out of nowhere. And when I filmed it, I just put it, like I said, on my Snapchat. There's 30 people on there. And my friends, a lot of them responded and they were like, oh my God, that was really funny. So I thought, okay, let me do some more. So I started posting a lot more, like still the same little scenario. And it all started as a joke, like with this drunk man having a go at his son. That was all it was. And then I thought, oh my God, maybe I could change this and give more of a story to it and add characters and like add a script and everything. So I started filming these scenes of an angry dad and a son, and like the son's a bit stupid, so he's always arguing with his son, and it always used to end up with the dad going crazy and like throwing a slip at the son. And what I used to do was use real life scenarios that would happen to me between my dad, but I just exaggerated them by 100, basically. So my dad, I'm of Turkish Cypriot background, so my dad is a bit old school. He did grow up in a village. He came to Cyprus. He came from Cyprus to London when he was about 16, 17. So he has got that village mentality. But yeah, so it all started like that. And it was just these scenarios of me and my dad arguing, but I would make them really exaggerated and ridiculous. And then, yeah, so I started posting these videos on Instagram and they started to build a bit of momentum. And I thought, okay, maybe I can actually do something with this. People are actually doing this. I mean, as a job, people are content creators. That's their job. Like, and even though I didn't want to go down that route, I thought, I'm content creating, I'm writing a script, I'm editing and filming my own videos, I'm posting them online. Maybe there could be an outcome that could lead to more in my acting career. Because I still don't want to go down a content creating route. I want to be an on-screen actor. So I just thought, yeah, maybe I can have some fun with this. It's practice as an actor. I'm like setting up a camera. I'm actually getting into character. You know, it is almost like training.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and then I started to explore other social media, because at first it was Snapchat, then Instagram, then I created a Facebook page, then I created a YouTube page, and then a TikTok, and yeah. So once I kind of got a bit of an audience with the Turkish Cypriot style stuff, I was like, you know what? I want to reach more people because there's only so much that I can reach with this kind of comedy. And then when TikTok blew up, everyone during lockdown started making TikToks. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do it. And for months and months, I didn't do it. And one of my friends, who's also a content creator, he kept telling me, you need to jump on it. You need to jump on it. The way that the algorithm works is really good. Like on TikTok, anyone can make a video and anyone can go viral. With Instagram, it's so much more different. And yeah, I just jumped onto TikTok, started making videos. There's all these trends that you can follow, or you could just do your own thing. I mean, there's doctors on TikTok who talk about physics and chemistry, and there's what's the word? Sorry, there's chefs on TikTok. There's dancers. There's content creators. Like comedy ones. There's everything. So at first I thought like it was a bit overwhelming. I was like, oh my God, I need to try and follow all these trends. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do my own thing. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, that's what I'm doing. I'm just like, I'm trying to think as an artist. I don't want to keep thinking as a content creator. I just want to,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you do. Like, it's like, because you keep trying to follow trends and it stresses me out because it doesn't work sometimes. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. I'm just going to think of my ideas and do them my way. People like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But then you still have to kind of go with some sort of trend because we have to appeal to today's audience. But yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like so easy to be a bit too purist about your art form.
Yes,
to the
exactly.
point where like no one connects with it, and it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Which can have a negative impact. Your videos have done really well. I remember you telling me some of your videos are hitting like 1 million hits or something. Is that right?
Yeah, I had one that hit 1.1 million on TikTok.
That is crazy. You recently worked with Humza Arshad.
Yes.
Tell us about that experience.
Oh, yeah, it was really fun, man. It was, obviously, Humza's a very big YouTuber, and it's someone that a lot of guys our sort of age, we grew up watching a lot of his like funny videos because he was one of the original YouTubers, I think. And yeah, so I think it was about 2 years ago, like literally just before the pandemic, he was holding auditions for a short film he was making. I went in, I had my audition, and then I never really heard from him. And so I think what happened was they made the film, but I didn't get into that film. But I'm guessing he must have kept me on his books because one day randomly, I noticed he was following me on Instagram and he started liking all my videos. And I thought, that's a bit random. Like, I haven't spoke to the guy in like a year and a half or 2 years.
Right.
And yeah, it was just, I noticed something was going on because he just kept liking and commenting and whatever on all these videos of mine. And I thought, something's going to happen. I don't know what, I could sense something. He DMs me. He said, hey, Aziz, I really like your videos. I want you to be in my next YouTube show. It's a very like wacky comedy. And I want you to play this landlord character, which is very similar to your dad character that you do, like with the accent and the anger and all these things. And I was like, mate, I'm in. Like literally, like Humza's DM'd me and asked me to do this. Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I first went, it was funny because I was late. I felt so like stupid. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like one of those things that you're invited by this big YouTuber. You want to make a good impression. And I was like an hour late because he didn't respond to my message. And I thought maybe he cancelled it or something. And I had to drive all the way to like South London. Anyway, I got there and we had a really fun time filming. And yeah, I think we did about 3 or 4 days overall over the space of about 2 to 3 months, I think it was.
Wow.
And it was cool.
What was the name of the show?
It's called The Chewing Gums. So he originally did The Bubble Gums.
Right.
And this was about 10 years ago. And it's about this shopkeeper, I think, he sells clothes. And he's just got these 2 like silly workers with him. And he's like this really arrogant boss. And yeah, so now he's made The Chewing Gums, which is like the second part of it. But yeah, it's really funny, really wacky, very silly. Like, did you watch any of it, by the way?
I haven't seen it yet. No, you did tell me about it. Sorry, I feel really like
wow.
You put me on the spot on my show.
No, I'm done now. I'm leaving.
No, I do. It's on my list of things to watch. You worked on it for 3 days-ish.
Yeah.
What was he like to work with? I mean, I've worked with him in the past, but like on that show particularly, what was it like?
Do you know what? It was very easy. That's there was no pressure. There was no, but do you know what? It's quite funny because he was almost quite serious. Not very serious, but like, it was funny to see the transition of him going from him to the characters and blah, blah, blah. But no, he's a genuinely very nice guy, very humble. Like, he didn't have anything about him that made me think, oh, he thinks he's too good. You know, because some people can get like that. But
absolutely.
Like,
yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, man, he's just I don't know. He just had a very nice character. I really liked him. Like, I genuinely could be like, I could hang out with this guy, like, as a friend.
What has the impact of you being in that show been for you? Like, has there been a fallout, like a positive fallout from it?
I mean, this is actually quite funny. I don't remember if I told you this.
No.
So I work in a school as a cover teacher and as a TA. So imagine I'm at school as a cover teacher and a kid is looking at me and is like, "Sir, I know you from somewhere. I've seen you somewhere." and I'm like, where? He's like, "Humza Productions." So I'm like, yeah, that was me. And then there's been a massive outbreak in the school where everyone knows who I am now from YouTube and blah, blah, blah. And they all keep telling me, "Oh, can we DM Humza and blah, blah, blah." Like, they keep making me send him voice notes and funny things like that. But it's helped my social media overall. I've got some good messages. I've got some more followers. And it was just a great experience, if I'm honest. And to be fair, some of the footage that we filmed was so good and so funny, I've actually included it in my showreel.
Wow, okay.
So, and because it shows a different side to me, it shows because my showreel at the beginning was very serious. It was like I hadn't got any comedy roles yet, so there was nothing I could put on the showreel. And every sketch that I filmed myself was just on my phone, and it wasn't filmed professionally by a cameraman.
Yeah.
But what we filmed with Humza is actually brilliant content. And I sent it to my agents as well, and I said, "What do you think? Should I add this to my show?" And they both said, "We love this scene, put it on there." So I was like, great. And it's nice to have a bit of comedy content on my showreel. So yeah, man, just wicked outcome from it. I loved working with him. It's been great.
You touched on your side hustle as a cover teacher.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some up and coming actors who are listening to this who would love to hear your perspective on having a side hustle. For example, myself, I'm a creative.
Yeah.
I do lots of things like stand up, I do improv.
Yeah.
But, I also have a couple of hustles that I do to ensure that the lights are on, that food's on the table.
Yes, 100%.
Tell us about your perspective on what you do, but also why you do it.
So when I first got into the acting industry, I was working a 9 to 5, and it was an office job with a salary. And luckily at the time, my manager was really kind, and he would let me go off to auditions when I needed to, go off to filming days when I needed to, here and there, and make up the time, things like that. But the job itself was destroying me. It was so boring. It was the job was so boring, and so I wasn't doing much. But when I came home from work, I wouldn't even have the energy to do what I wanted to do, do my acting and do my auditions or do some writing or do some comedy. It's that job affected me so much that even though I had the flexibility and the freedom, it wasn't good for me. So once I quit that job, and I'll tell you something funny, I literally quit out the blue. I just sat down one day and I wrote my resignation letter and I just quit. And I said, I'm going to find something. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to find it. And so when I found the teaching stuff, because I'm a bit of a child myself, I didn't think of an issue working with kids. I thought it would probably be fun, and it is. But yeah, an Instagram ad actually popped up and it said, "Jobs for actors working in schools." So a guy actually created this teaching agency for actors because it's flexible. So teachers are always required. I guess not a lot of people enjoy teaching, but I've been working for 2 years as a cover teacher, and I've got a job almost every day they need me. So, and the thing is, just going back to what I said earlier, because the job I had previously was very stressful and very boring, I didn't enjoy it. Once I got into this, and I get to pick and choose whenever I work. So I work with 2 different teaching agencies. I literally call them up and I say, look, I'm free this day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, for example. They book me in a school or they tell me we're going to try and get you something, and they do. And I've built up a good relationship with my agency, with the school, and I can pretty much work whenever I want. And it's got the flexibility of me being able to say, no, I can't come in tomorrow. I've got a sudden audition. And they say, okay, no problem. And that's it. There's no, we need you. It's, look, I've got they know I'm an actor. They respect that. Obviously there's no holiday pay, but do you know what I mean? I don't really care about that. Yes, we have to focus on money, but you have to think, like, I remember last week, I think it was last week, I was like, I need to work every day. I need money. An audition came up. I was like, forget the money, going into my audition, prepare. Like, that's the number one priority on my list. But that's kind of how I work. It's just get your money, work as much as you can. But if anything acting related comes up, you need to prioritize that. And I know a lot of other actors, some of my friends, that maybe they don't have the opportunity because of certain jobs that they do. They can't just cancel a job. But with what I do, I'm able to say no whenever I want. I can literally go in. If my agent called me and said, you need to come to an audition in 2 hours, I would just leave the school. Like, it's that simple, because, okay, I might get in trouble, but like, the way I work is acting number 1, everything else number 2. The money will come. I always think like that.
I juggle quite a few things.
Yeah.
Because in our line of work, you have to.
Yeah.
It's about being responsible about it.
Yeah, definitely responsible.
And on both sides. So obviously, as long as you're honest with people and as long as they understand the situation, usually they can be supportive. But also the people you're working with have to be responsible with you as well, which I totally get. And it sounds like there's an air of ruthlessness that you need to have.
Yeah.
But as long as you manage that in a respectable way, you're fine.
Yeah, man, definitely. I'm sure you have the same thing.
I run my own digital agency, which is great because it's my own thing and I'm my own boss. But sometimes I'll have a job going, but I'll also have, I'll also be on set, and I just have to make sure they don't infringe upon each other, because clients want to get value out of you when you're working with them, but also people on set need you and they trust you.
Yeah.
There are times when you're on set and you just sitting around doing nothing. So that's fine. But if an AD comes in and says, right, Sanj, I need you on set with your, whatever, you've got to be ready for that.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%.
You can't do both and have them not know what's going on. You need to make sure that
they're aware of what you're doing, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You talked about how it's fulfilling from a logistical perspective because you're able to drop it when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned it on set when we were filming last week, that you find the role really fulfilling because you're working with kids, you're helping them. Talk to us about that. I think a lot of people listening will get a lot of value from it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I'm a child myself. And just being around kids, I find it very, very fascinating because they're so pure, number one. Like they're just innocent little beings who are trying to kind of like learn and grow. And my role, I'm not there to teach because I'm a cover teacher or a TA. I'm there to just assist and supervise and genuinely just kind of make sure they're okay, kind of thing. But because the kids have kind of like got to know me and they know I'm really relaxed, like I'm not a strict teacher. Okay, you can't mess me around, as in you can't just start fighting in class or whatever. Like I've had funny incidents where kids have done just silly things, but the way I am always with them, I'm always like, look, I'm going to be really good to you guys because I'm a cover teacher. I know the feeling that when I was young, when a cover teacher walked in, I was like, I'm not doing any work today. So I was always, like the way I talk to them, I'm like, look, guys, here's your work. Get on with it. Have a chat. Do what you want. But just don't be too loud and crazy kind of thing. But like, and then there's these really nice moments where, because I'm such a chilled guy, I feel like these kids feel like they can approach me really easily. So they're always like, oh, hey, sir, oh, can I ask you this or can I ask you that? And then they're like, why do you work as a cover teacher or blah, blah, blah. And then I just open up and I tell them like, look, I'm an actor and this is what I'm doing. And they're like, oh, how did you get into it? And I find myself like really trying to help them and just give them like life advice, just to be like, guys, look, just kind of try to find out what you like. Don't think about, because sometimes I ask kids, I'm like, what do you want to do? And they're like, make money. And I'm like, look, that's good. And I understand a lot of people, like they come from maybe poorer backgrounds and they just think about money a lot. And I always try to kind of get them to change their thinking and be like, look, if you just perfect something and you become the best at it, the money will come. You know, I feel like that's a good attitude to have. But yeah, man. And like, I've mentioned to you that I work with kids with autism as well.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah. So it's actually made me think very differently. Like sometimes I think to myself, I wouldn't mind doing this as a job. As much as I want to be a superstar, there's moments where I'm like, this is actually such a nice job because you're genuinely helping and shaping the future, you know? Like if you think about it in a deep way, you are helping these kids. And like, I'm sure you probably remember like maybe like one specific teacher that helped you. I don't know, do you?
Hell yeah. Like people that inspire you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like that's because I love inspiration and I love having idols to look up to and things like that. And then sometimes when I'm like in a playground, for example, like I'm doing like lunch duty the other day, a kid came up to me. He's like, sir. Oh, how did you meet Humza? And I'm like, oh, like this happened and this happened. And they're like, no way, you did an audition and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, suddenly like there's a group of kids like surrounding me and they just want to know, like they want to learn from me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and I'm not actually trying. And it's not one of those moments where it's like, I've picked up a mic and I'm like trying to win an audience and I'm trying to make them laugh. It's just like, I'm just chatting and they just want to know what I'm saying. And it's like, it's almost like I'm on a stage, but it's almost a better feeling than, I don't know what would be the better feeling, but like the fact that these kids are just surrounding me and they want to listen to what I'm saying, I'm always like very appreciative of that because I just feel like, oh, that was so nice. And I come home sometimes, I'm like, I've had like the loveliest day at work, you know?
Yeah.
Just things like that. And it's like, I don't even make that much money from it, but I genuinely like, it makes me feel so happy and I feel so even more inspired to come home and have the energy to do other things.
You touched on something really important there in that it doesn't matter what you do as a side hustle, as long as it's something you find fulfilling.
Yeah.
Because that's what keeps you driven.
I think so, yeah.
I think all side hustles or jobs or whatever are part of character building and do help you as an actor.
Yeah, man, 100%.
You know, the amount of times I've been on set and they're like, is there anyone here who can do this or do that? And having that experience is so useful.
Yeah.
It gets you doing what you need to do to get the job done.
Yeah, definitely.
You talked about your Cypriot heritage and your father, and you create a lot of content, or you have created a lot of content that takes some personality tropes of your father and then you accentuate them.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your relationship with your father and his view on what you do and how it's changed from when you started to where you are now.
So, it's funny. So imagine you have a son who's 28 years old. He has an office job. He works a 9 to 5. You have come over you've come over as an immigrant, and your son is 28 and says, Dad, I'm quitting my job to become an actor. So, it's just, he almost like, he was like, what the hell have I raised? Like, and yeah, at the beginning, it started with the comedy videos and he used to kind of just laugh at me and be like, what are you doing? Like, I don't get it. Why are you doing this kind of thing? Because my dad's a very logical person. I'll give you an example. He's someone that's like, he studied science. He got a degree in science. He's very academic. I don't think he thinks with his emotions much. He does, but it's always logic. So for him, even me messing around and making videos for fun doesn't make sense, because it's like, why would you do that? So it all began like that. It was always kind of like, why are you doing it, whatever. And I was really embarrassed, man. Like, I used to hide away when I did it, and like sometimes he would, like, I can't remember if maybe I didn't have a lock on my door or something. He used to just walk in, and I'm just sitting there with like a wig on, and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you're ruining my video. Like, I'm mid-scene. Like, I've broken out of character. And funny enough, I remember once he pissed me off so much. I was like, you know what? I need to use this anger in the scene. And I did it. And I was like, okay, cool. He helped me somehow. But like, yeah, like, so that's how it was at the beginning. And then when I first announced that I'm quitting my job and I'm going to really pursue it, he just kept talking about money. It was always that. It was about money. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to make money? How are you going to buy a house? How are you going to do this? And I just kept saying like the same thing I always say. I'm going to figure it out. Anyway, so fast forward 4 years, let's say. So recently I was involved in Gangs of London, and I got one of my first like proper TV roles in a big TV series. And
wow,
when I told my dad, I said, I'm going to be on season 2 of Gangs of London, he was like, oh, okay, where can I watch it? I said, oh, it's on Sky. Like, he's got Sky at home. My dad sat down and he watched in the whole of series 1. And he came back to me and he said, I liked it. It was a bit too much, but it was good. And I just thought, wow, man, look at the change, like, for my dad to go and sit down and watch the whole TV series just because I mentioned it to him that I'm going to be on it. It just made me really like emotional, if I'm honest. It wasn't even happy. It was just like, wow, I felt so like, because as a kid, you always want your parents to be proud of you.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like, it's just a craving that you always have. I mean, I don't know. Do you feel like that sometimes?
You told me this story about your father when we were on set last week.
Yeah.
I could relate to it so much because I'm a child of immigrant parents.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pressure on me to get a job and to do what you had to do to pay the bills. And my parents came from a different background. They weren't scientists, but they were hardworking immigrant parents who worked their arse off to make sure we had a roof over our head.
Yeah.
And I was always creative, but that need for creativity was always demonized within my family. It was like, no, it's not going to work. You're not going to pay the bills. You're not going to pay, And so hearing your story, I liked it because it made me think about that time. But what I learned as I got older is I wasn't the only person that was going through it. There was lots of people. And luckily, I managed to get into the creative world and to make a living from it. But there were some people who I knew who were forced to become doctors or forced to become lawyers or whatever, because that's what immigrant families want for their children, is for them to be, he's a doctor or he's a lawyer or whatever. And, that means they're going to have a prosperous life. But I had a lot of friends who were just miserable and they did their doctor thing. And there's nothing wrong with becoming a doctor. I'm not saying it's wrong, but these people were put into directions that they didn't want. And they ended up becoming doctors. And then after about a year going, do you know what? This, I'm going to become an actor or I'm going to become a singer or whatever it is. So to hear your account of it was interesting because it made me realize that there is a sizable amount of people within the creative arts who go through that.
Yeah. Definitely.
One of my favorite comedians, Sebastian Maniscalco, he talks about that a lot. And he's a $1 million stand-up comedian now.
Yeah.
He talks about his dad a lot, but he, like a lot of people who came from immigrant parents, would have had to face that provocation. And it was just so nice to hear your story about how it took some time, but once you got to that point and your dad did go, oh, this is cool, that you got gratification. I haven't spoken to my family about it, but I haven't got that yet from them yet. But then, I haven't done Gangs of London. But I just feel it gives a lot of hope to the people listening. Definitely.
Yeah, man.
It gives me hope. Just touching base with Gangs of London. Did you meet Gareth Evans then?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he was there on the day. No, he wasn't. It was there was another director
Right.
on the day. Yeah. So the way that they've done it, a lot of different episodes were directed by different people. So the woman, there was a director on the day, I've forgotten her name, but she was a director on Narcos, I believe.
Oh.
Let me find her name for you now. Hold on.
Usually TV shows have like creators, and he's credited as a creator of the show.
Yeah, he's one of the main writers. And creators. Yeah. So him and Matt, they were always creating horror and gory stuff. And then I think when they wrote that,
to Matt Flannery,
it just was a massive, it was wicked. Yeah, that's it.
So what was the process? So obviously you had an audition, right?
Yeah. So without revealing too much.
Sorry as well.
No, of course, I'll say what I can. So I had to, I'll go back a bit just to make it a bit more interesting. I had a meeting with my agent, and he asked me specifically, what kind of stuff do I want to get into? And I said to him, look, I've just watched Gangs of London. There was loads of Turkish, Kurdish, Albanians, like loads of my type of people, my kind of look, because I'm Mediterranean, but I kind of fall into the category of perhaps a Latino, perhaps a Middle Eastern, things like that. So when I told him, I said, look, surely there's got to be a role on Gangs of London season 2 for me. Anyway, he's done his research. He's got me an audition. I did the audition, and I had to film myself in my bedroom. And I remember
hoping that your dad wouldn't bust in.
Well, I'm in my own place at the moment, luckily.
Yeah, I'm
Do you know what the funny thing is? I filmed it in the morning, and I was screaming and shouting. So that's what I could tell you about my audition. Like, it was a bit of a crazy audition. I filmed it. I filmed 2 takes, one really intense and one a little less intense. And I remember I sent it to my agent. I said, look, what one do you want? He said, let's send both. We sent both. And then, like a few weeks later, he messaged me and he said, are you definitely free for the dates that they're going to film? And I tried really hard not to get excited. He said, don't get excited yet. You're just penciled at the moment. I'm sure you know the meaning of pencil.
Yeah.
Such a killer term. Because you don't want to get excited, but you want to get excited. And then I remember he just messaged me and he WhatsApped me and said, check your email. And the email said, booked, Gangs of London. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Wow.
Honestly, mate, I was,
And how long was the time from when it said the word book to when you were actually on set?
Oh, mate, you know what? It was a madness. So I think I did my audition in July or August. No, sorry. When was it? It was a few months. But what made it worse, I got COVID.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I went, what happened was they were COVID testing me. So Gangs of London sent someone to me to COVID test me. And I felt really ill. And I had 2 COVID tests, and they were both negative. And then I went in one day for a fitting, and I got tested again, and then it said positive. And I was so scared because I thought, I'm going to lose my role. They're going to just replace me. Yeah. But luckily, they said there's been a COVID outbreak on set anyway from someone else. So they postponed everything. And I literally just done my 10 days. And then about, I think, a week or 2 after my 10 days, I started filming. But, oh, mate, I can't tell you, like, the buzz.
Yeah.
Like, especially when it's a show that you've watched and you know the characters,
Right.
and then you're on set with those characters.
Wow.
Like, it's mental,
Yeah,
man.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was so cool.
I'm really proud of you, man, because
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Such a talented spirit and such a talented guy.
Thank you, bro.
And so wonderful. It was great reconnecting with you after all these years.
Yeah, man, 100%.
It's been almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Actually, no, yeah, 2 years. And then to hear that from you was like, wow. Like, I was like, that's incredible. And I really, really value that.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
It's going to change your life because that show is a great show. And the first season's got a cult following.
Yeah.
I'm sure the second season's just going to skyrocket the brand into the stratosphere and you're going to be part of that. So well done.
Thank you.
You touched on the fact that you're a Cypriot. You're proud of your Cypriot heritage.
Yes.
Tell us about what that means to you.
You know what? In all honesty, I want to kind of put us on the map. I feel like we haven't got the best, what's the word? No one really knows much about Cypriots. I feel like people always associate, because there's Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots, so everyone knows the Turkish culture is such a strong culture, the Greek culture is such a strong culture. Everyone knows everything about Turks and Greeks. But Cypriots is always like, what's that? Like, I literally get it all the time. And there's another guy, his name is Jamie Christou, I think. He did a show called Stathlets Flats.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So he's a Greek Cypriot.
Just won a load of awards.
Yes, exactly. And he's a Greek Cypriot guy, and he's very funny. Like, for me, a Cypriot is a Cypriot. He's Greek Cypriot, Turkish Cypriot. I don't really mind. I'm happy for him. Jamie Dimitriou, that's it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like he's doing really well in the industry, and he wrote the show himself and he got a BAFTA.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, man, that is so good. And it's about, the show is about like a Greek Cypriot estate agent. And it's like, it's so real, and it's so like, even when I watch it, I find it funny because all my mates are Greeks and Turks and whatever, like we can relate to it. And I'm sure even like everyone knows a kebab shop, for example, or an estate agent, like when you've got these foreign guys working there. And like, I just, in all honesty, I would love to give our culture a very good representation. And I'm not like a, what's the word? Not militant. I'm not very, very patriotic. I used to be, and I'm not like, because I love all cultures. All my friends are different. I don't just stick to like Cypriots when I hang out with people, but I do want to do more for the culture. I want people to be like, oh wow, like that guy's, he's actually Turkish Cypriot. Like I didn't know they can act. I thought all they did was make kebabs, like, you know, like, like, and it's same with like we said earlier, like the immigrant parent that comes to London, they want the safe life or the doctor or the lawyer. But for me to, like the way I see it, imagine one day I'm like a big Hollywood star, and then it's like all the other Cypriots or immigrants, let's say immigrants, any other culture that comes to the UK, whether it's a Spanish or Italian or whoever, they can be like, wow, that can be me. And yeah, maybe I sound a little bit cliche, but like I would love to have that kind of effect on people. And it probably relates to the same thing with when I work in a school. Like I like the fact that I can inspire people, because I really look up to certain individuals, whether it's a footballer or an actor or an artist. When I look up to that person, I'm like, they did it. They did the impossible dream. So I want to be that kind of character. I would love to be that kind of character.
Awesome. Well, I don't think it's a cliche. I think it's a great thing. Everyone has to have a vision and a drive. And it sounds like you got that and you got it in spades. And it's great that you talked about someone that's kind of at the apex, isn't he? Jamie Dimitriou. He's like, he's worked with some fantastic people already. He's already exploring Hollywood and stuff. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
because I didn't know that he was from territory. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So look, we're running out of time, but we've got just a few more questions before we close up. And when I say we're running out of time, I'm not trying to get rid of you, Aziz. It's always a pleasure.
It's my bedtime, mate.
Yeah. This has been awesome. And I know people listening would have got a lot of value. If you met a younger version of yourself in a bar, what advice would you give them knowing what you know now?
That's such a tough question. Let me try to answer it quickly because you want to get rid of me. You know what? I think the best advice I would ever give anyone is just to be yourself. Don't try and because I realized that at a later age, to just be true to yourself. There's nothing else I could really say, because if you're not, you're always going to be stressed out. You're always going to have something on you, like you're wearing a mask or you're being someone else. To cut it short, just be true to yourself.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's strong advice,
yeah.
Particularly in industry we work in.
Yeah, definitely.
Bradley Cooper said he didn't start getting good acting roles until he realized that he needs to just be himself in that moment.
100%.
And obviously, he's Oscar nominated actor, director.
Yeah, he's brilliant, man.
So I totally get that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people will really value that, because it is hard. When you're in the entertainment space, there is this constant pressure to be better than other people. So you try to put on these, as you say, masks.
Yeah.
So it's really important. Cool. All right. Well, look, we're starting to wind down. If people want to contact you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah. So my Instagram is The Aziz Show. The Aziz, AZIZ. Bloody hell, lost my voice there. The Aziz Show. I'm sure you know how to spell the and show, but Aziz is AZIZ. That's on Instagram. TikTok is also The Aziz Show. Facebook is The Aziz Show UK. And I'm on YouTube as well, The Aziz Show. Just send me a DM.
Well, Aziz, it's been amazing. It's been really, really fun. I'm so happy to hear about all this good fortune that you've had, particularly in the last year.
Thank you, man.
It sounds like all of this hard work that you put in is starting to pay off, and that's amazing news.
Yeah.
You and I are going to hook up soon. Let's not,
let's
not leave it another 2 years.
Definitely, man.
Now you're famous, so I just want to make sure that I'm standing next to you when you get to clubs and stuff. No, it'd be really good to see you. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, man, definitely. No, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No worries, buddy. Those of you listening, it's great to be back. We're going to have some more guests with you soon. If you can, please subscribe, share. Sanj Surati Talks, all one word. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please be good.